Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. Tisha here, back for another recap of My Five Wives. This is season one, episode five, A Mary Williams Christmas. Even though this was titled A Mary Williams Christmas, to me, I didn't really get a lot of Christmas vibes. It wasn't giving what I thought it would give. I thought we were going to see like Christmas with the actual family where they maybe exchanged gifts or had dinner or something like that. But instead, the most Christmas content I think we got was Noni planning this Christmas party for the gentleman at work, but we'll get to it. So, do me a favor, hit the like button as we jump into this episode, y'all. Yeah, anyways, the humidity is humifying, humidifying. I'm not taking it out. It's doing whatever it's doing. Okay. All right. Let me get my life together here. The holiday season is fast approaching and Brady is just looking forward to spending time with his family. Between the family, his business, and school, he's worn out. So the holidays for him are a time that both he and the family loves because of the time that they get to spend together. I'm thinking because the children are at home and they're not in school. So it just allows him to see them more. So they each have crafts and things that they do with their children, as well as decor and things of that nature in their homes, and then they celebrate together as one family. So let's start with Polly. Polly is struggling with her children growing up. She's still not sure how to operate in a world where they no longer need her. First, her daughter Carly is 20 and she's married. Now, Carly is the one that is in purple next to her with the bangs and the earrings. That's Carly. So she is 20 years old. She's married. Then there's her son Josh, who is in the purple shirt standing up. He is 19 and he's getting ready to prepare to leave to go on a mission. And on the other side of Josh is his sister, who looks like she's in kind of like a gray top with a floral scarf. She is 17. Her name is Madeline, and she is preparing to leave for college. She has actually been granted a full tuition scholarship that covers at least her first year at college. So she is really, really excited. She's happy because with the size of their family, she knew that college was something that she would have to pay for on her own. And now she's basically about to get out of there. While her kids are having all these transitions, Polly is kind of struggling. She's happy for them, but she does not know how to handle any of it because much of her life has revolved around her husband and their children. Madeline has no plans whatsoever on staying home. She wants to do more for herself. She wants to do something that her mother was never able to do, which is experience life. Um, so you can see that Polly's a little hurt by that because even later on in the episode, she's like, are you going to come back here after college? And she's like, I don't really know. Like, I really want to be out there and live on my own. I've been in this sheltered world for so long with all of my siblings who are like-minded, and I want to experience something else. I think that's amazing for her. What also makes things hard is that Josh, which is her only son, he does a lot. And the thought of him leaving, she tells Brady, aches her. I thought I was about to experience this, you guys, with my child. Like, oh my gosh, my son is a senior. He's graduating next month. And I was preparing myself this entire time for what life would look like without him being in the home. And apparently that's not going to be my reality because he has decided that what he wants to do, and I'm not knocking it. I actually think it's smart. It's a smart way to go, especially in terms of the price of education and all that stuff now. He wants to do 2 years at community college, which he, currently that's they paid in full. He has enough scholarships that can take care of that. So where I'm excited about that, being a single mom. Woo! Um, but with that being said, he isn't going to be leaving. He's going to be staying here. And because of that, I can't relate to Polly with her being so sad. I think that if my child were leaving, that I would miss him. But I think that for Polly, it hits a little bit deeper. Like you can see that a lot of what they do is about their kids. And for her, the transition is going to be in learning to navigate with the adjustments. For some people, it's easier, for some, it's harder. If you're familiar with this, please let me know down below. She says that there's times where she just finds herself wanting to grab her kids and to hold them back because of how hard it is for her to let them go. But she knows that she needs to do what's right for them, and she wants them to do what they want to do. So she's proud of him and she's going to support, him and her other children. He wants to go to places like Africa, which shows how much of a strain it is on her heart that he wants to go so far and she can't do anything but support him. We find out that Josh also works at his father's business, which Brady loves because he says that he's a good worker. And what we find out is that unlike the Browns, Brady pays his kids. Now, I don't know if he pays all of them, but because Josh is working for the business, Josh is actually being paid through the business. So he doesn't just have him doing manual labor because you're my kid and you're of this age, you need to come and work for me. It's your kid, you're this age, come and work for me and you're going to get paid. If I remember correctly, with the sister wives, when Janelle's kids would go to Wyoming on the ranch and work, I recall them being paid as well. So it seems like in this culture, there are times where, people do pay their kids if they're able to. So he helps out a lot at home. We see him helping his father get the cars out of the snow, and we see him doing different deliveries and things of that nature at work. But he's ready and preparing to leave for his mission, which is supposed to happen in May. It turns out that they have told their children that they are free to be a part of whatever religion they decide that they want to be a part of. So Josh has joined as Brady puts it, the mainstream Mormon church. Brady says he's proud of him because it's what he chose, and he feels like Josh is doing it for the right reasons, which in this case is to convert people to the Mormon church. Josh tells us that the Mormon church is based on family and becoming more like Christ. And the biggest difference between the FLDS and the LDS is that the LDS does not practice polygamy. I guess it's safe to say that he has no desire to become a polygamist, but I am surprised that the Mormon church would allow him to become a part of the church based on what we know happened to both McKelty and to Madison. Because when they tried to become part of the Mormon church, they were basically told that they couldn't do so if they continued to associate with their parents. So what is it about this young man that he wasn't being told the same thing? Is it because his parents aren't as vocal, or is it a thing because he's a guy? Because we know how men are looked at in this system, in this faith. So I was like, huh? Like they didn't have a problem with him. Interesting. So we go from that to Noni. Noni, we find out, is Brady's office manager. In my mind, that would mean that she probably gets a lot more time with him than some of the other wives. Maybe not in person, but there's certain conversations that they're going to be having throughout the day via phone or text because you're the office manager. So she wants to talk to Brady about throwing a Christmas party. There's something that comes off as I don't want to say robotic, but when Noni talks to Brady sometimes, it's very much so giving like I'm reading the cue cards on this, and this is what I'm supposed to be asking. Because Brady, what are we going to do for the guys? Because we used to throw them a Christmas party, but we haven't done it in years. So, Brady, I was wondering, could we do it now? Because the economy has gotten better. It's just very like, do you normally talk like this, or are the cameras making you nervous? Because I can understand, like, sometimes when I see myself on camera, or if there's a camera pointed in front of me, I may get a little self-conscious here and there. So maybe that's what it is. Either way, she comes off as a little robotic to me. So she talks about the party. He agrees to doing the party, but he does not want it to be expensive. He asks her to please take care of it, saying that he doesn't need to be a part of the details. His only requirement is that it's a space where they can have dinner with the men who work for them, and each one of the guys are able to invite a plus one. So either it being a wife, a friend, or a girlfriend, that they could have someone come there for them. I personally felt like the Christmas party that she threw looked rather boring to me. I guess it went well with the company, but I just wonder how much more fun would it have been if you made this more of a let's sit down and have a sit down dinner and then let's play some games type of situation. I just think it could have been more fun, but that's just my thoughts. I'll probably say more about it when we get to it. Noni finds a venue, and although he said he didn't want to take part in it, she convinces him to come with her at 11 in the morning and take a look at the venue. He doesn't get why she can't do it by herself, so he reluctantly agrees. I already knew based on how he was agreeing that more than likely he wouldn't be there. What we learn later is that she was excited about looking at venues with him because, in her words, she'll get some extra alone time with Brady. Wishful thinking, but it didn't happen because the next day, Noni is at the venue waiting on her man, who forgets that he's supposed to be there. She calls, he's like, look, some stuff has come up. We're busy. I'm not going to be able to make it. We lost the job. I'm trying to make up for it with another. With her being the office manager, I would think that this was something that she would be aware of. So I'm questioning what the roles that she has involves. Like, what is your, definition, or what are your responsibilities, I should say, as an office manager? Because they vary per office. Let me not come down too hard on Noni. I just think it's something that she should be privy to going on. So she is visibly disappointed, and she tells us she's disappointed. She says she wanted him to, scout it out with her. Um I laughed because I already knew he was going to find a way out of that. That was me being petty. He didn't really need to be there, in my opinion, especially for what she did to the space. Just take some pictures and send it to him, because he does not seem like the type of person who's very picky. So she ends up listening to my suggestion, and she takes pictures and sends it, however many years later, 10 years later, she's listening to me, but she listened, she just knew I was going to come up here and I was going to say this, and she did it. And she decides that the spot will work. Later that night, rather than bringing it up in bed, she lets it go. She tells us that she's a little upset that he didn't come, but as a plural wife, you have to let things go sometimes. I would not be able to do that. But that goes back to, there's only so much time that they get with him. So do you want to utilize your time arguing, or do you want to just let it go? Not that that's something that should turn into an argument, but based on the things that we've seen, it probably would have become a little bit of a disagreement. So I get why she let it go. She says that she has to do the decorations and contact the caterer and figure out everything that they need. He apologizes that he left all of that to her, but I just want to know what else is she doing, because I don't mean any harm, and maybe it's because I've done several events, but what he's asking for doesn't seem like it's that much. You're not the one cooking, you're making a phone call, finding out how much it costs, and buying and ordering the food and telling them what time to be there. That doesn't require anything. Your decorations were basic centerpieces, so that didn't require but so much. I just don't, everybody works at a different pace. I just didn't see it. And here's the thing, I'm not an event person. If y'all look at my shorts, you'll see where I put up a video from my cousin's baby shower, and a lot of what was done was things that my family did. I think just naturally, like, that type of stuff comes to us. Like, my mom and my aunt, them are amazing at floral arrangements and things of that nature. My uncle is very handy. Like, he has his own business, but like the way that he can build things and turn things, like, there were so many different people on deck that were capable of doing things, that when I'm hearing her talk about these basic centerpieces and I don't know, it's not garland because it wasn't green, a little, tinsel or whatever that she put here and a light there. Like, it really wasn't that much decor. But to each his own. Off of that subject because I'm rambling. So we see Josh have a conversation with his parents about taking a trip to Africa before his mission. I just realized that this whole time I had this picture up here. Sorry, you guys. Hopefully, you knew who I was talking about when I was talking about Noni. There she is. There's Noni. Okay, back to Josh. Yeah. So Josh wants to go for a couple of weeks to Africa to hang out with his uncle Seth. Seth is Brady's half brother because he is his brother from another mother, and he works with the Peace Corps in Africa. Paulie is hesitant to allow him to go because not only has he never gone to Africa, but he's never been out of the country. The tickets are expensive, she says. They start talking about the various diseases out there. And to Josh, he says, I have money saved up in the bank. I've been working. And to the diseases, he says, there's shots for that. Good for you, Josh. Enjoy life while you can before it all changes and you have actual real adult responsibility. So I think that it's nice that he's getting to do this. He feels like this will prepare him for a mission. Josh later reminds her that he'll be okay, that Uncle Seth will be there, and then he'll, he won't be alone. By the end of the episode, she agrees to be supportive and let him go. She says she has to learn to embrace her children growing up and experiencing things themselves. Josh tells her he's proud of her because he's seeing that she's making changes, which means this is something that she's previously struggled with. It's been hard for her to let go. So the fact that he gave her some, you know what, mom, you're doing a good job, and letting go some, it makes her feel good. We then see him and Brady talk. They're out by the campfire, and Brady says that, Josh and him have a very, very close relationship. So he is going to really, really miss him. He says that he's glad that Josh is able to experience life in this way, that he's going to be able to do things that he himself couldn't do at that age. He's going to really miss him, but he's glad that his son is going to get to see the world. He tells him if and when he comes back, whether it be from mission or Africa, that he could be prepared to be prepped for management because he's just that good. He tries to bring up the fact that he's young, but his father's like, you being young has nothing to do with it. It's the way that you think, it's the ideas that you come up, it's the way that you come up with, it's the way that the men respond to you. It just goes to show you that rather than being in competition with his son, which is what we see a lot of times, that Brady values and loves his kids. He doesn't see his son as his competitor. He sees his son in some instances as his equal. It's beautiful. Brady has really, really surprised me. And I'm just glad that he's a kind man. Look, even in his eyes, he seems like a kind-hearted man. And I'm not saying he's perfect, but I do think he leads from kindness. Josh tells him over the fire that, Dad, you're one of the most awesome dads that a kid could ask for, which means a lot to Brady. Josh is just trying to figure out life, he says. And you're 19 at this point. You have all the time to figure it out. I think that he's putting a lot of pressure on himself because, the whole mission thing and life thing. But it seems like he's gonna, he's off to a good start. The fact that you've already been working with your hands and doing things on construction sites and things of that nature, and now you at 19 want to go to Africa to see what your uncle does with the Peace Corps, it just goes to, to show that he too is kind. I can't wait to see the update on these kids. Okay, so we get a cut from that to a scene with Brady, and he is bonding with his boys. Do I have a picture with everybody, including the boys? I don't think I do. Let me see. I'm scrolling, y'all. I'm scrolling. Okay, yeah, we're gonna put up the whole family. So he has taken his sons, which, oh my, I never realized there's a lot of girls in his family. He's taking he's taking his sons to go get haircuts because he's saying that they needed them, and this is also a gift to his wives. We see the young lady that cuts their hair seems to have built a rapport with them as she talks to each one of the young men as they sit in her chair. Rhonda's son Lake, that is the blonde boy in the very, very center with the blue shirt and the black jeans, not black jeans, blue jeans and black pants, standing next to the young man who's wearing glasses with blue, red, and white. Rhonda's son Lake is growing his hair out. He really, really does not want to cut it off. Josh explains how when they were in the church, their father would not allow them to outgrow their hair, that they would have to all have buzz cuts. I want to know at this point, how long had it been since they left the church? That really interests me because him pointing that out makes me wonder, what made Brady change his mind about even that. Brady explains that although he prefers the shorter hair on his boys because he did not think in the past that young men should have long hair, he is now at a place where he's going to allow his boys to express themselves within reason because they all have different styles and personalities. So Lake gets about an inch cut off his hair so that he can actually see without having hair all in his eyes. You can tell that he's a little upset by the cut at first, but his big brothers make him feel better about it by talking to him about, now you can flip your hair. So they sit in confessional together and we see each one of the boys do their version of a hair flip. And I laughed and it was cute and I smiled because it just shows you the way that they all are when they're together. So Christmas is near and we see the preparation that goes into the various homes. Like at Noni's home, they're spraying stuff on the like the fake snow on the windows to make snowflakes and putting the little lights, Christmas lights around it. It's cute. I like it. Y'all, I'm a big Christmas person. Like when it's Christmas time, pillows get changed out and the decor changes, and depending on what my tree in the living room looks like, the dining room stuff normally matches that, to the point where I even change my orbs to Christmas orbs, and there's Merry Christmas signs. And I'm a very, very big Christmas holiday person. I also always have a tree in various rooms. Don't judge me. I love it. And then it's gotten to the point now where I keep a tree up in one bedroom of my place in remembrance of my friend, and because it relaxes me, like the lights and stuff on the tree, they relax me. But let me get back to this. So the kids tell us what Christmas means to them. We find out that the eldest of the Williams clan, that's Carly, she is driving down with her husband Jake to spend Christmas with her family. Her mother, Paulie, as well as the other adults, are excited that she'll be there for at least a week. Brady talks about how it was hard for him when Jake came around, that he did not like Jake at first, not because of Jake, but because of Carly, because that's his baby girl. But Jake eventually did win him over. Carly has been missing her family. She's not used to it just being her. That has to be a lot. Going from a family of what, 30 to now it just being you and your husband, that's a big change. And she's not used to it just being the two of them. So she explains that although she grew up in a plural family, that she has no desire to follow into, her mom's footsteps. Interesting that in confession, she refers to them as her moms, but when she's greeting them and giving each one of them hugs, you hear her say something like, hey, Aunt Rose, or hey, Aunt Rhonda. And as I said before, I can't get past it. The aunt thing just weirds me out for some reason. Maybe it's because there are actually like the Duggar family where there are an actual twin sister in that four adult marriage, because he has three wives, and even the one of them is a cousin. Like, that is a little weird to me. Like, I call my bonus mom mommy too. And I just, like, I could never call her aunt by and then her name. It just doesn't feel right to me. You're not an aunt. There's other ways to show respect, but that's their thing. It just weirds me out, y'all. Am I wrong for that weirding me out? If I am, it's okay. Y'all can tell me down below. So Carly thinks that her moms are wonderful, but she admits that she doesn't want to share her husband, especially after witnessing how hard the lifestyle is on the mothers. Thank you, Carly. Thank you for being honest. And she's not the only one. One thing I'll say about this family is they're a lot more honest about the loneliness that they feel at times when it comes to this. They say that they love their family, but they say it's hard to share their husband. She says, I look at my moms and I don't know how they can do it. I look at Jake and I think to myself, I want to be selfish and I don't want to share you with any other women. I appreciate that honesty. It means she too sees the sadness. A lot of them, in my opinion, look sad, and it could just be their affect, or it could be that they're actually sad. Even Carly, at times in this episode, when she was talking, like when she was on the video call with her parents, she seemed a little somber to me. And I don't know if that's because she misses her family or what, but it's just something in their eyes where a lot of the moms don't seem to be that happy. And I don't want to say like they're not happy with Brady. I think they love Brady. I think they just miss Brady. So this then leads to a very interesting conversation where you kind of get to see some of the mom's thoughts, right? In my opinion, this was also great because it lets us see that just because they're in plural marriage themselves, it doesn't mean it's something that they want for their kids. So Robin said that she would support her daughter going into a plural marriage as long as that's what she wanted. She would want her daughter to know that it was going to be tough and it's not always perfect. Once again, saying this isn't for, people who just think it's going to be easy breezy, because it's not. It requires work. Rhonda tells us that for her, she actually leans towards her children not being polygamous because all the unhappiness she has seen. She says she's seen a lot of polygamous situations where people are really unhappy. Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you. There seems to be so many instances in what we've seen play out on television, as well as what we've read in the books on this channel, of pain and loneliness more than joy. It does not seem to me like happiness is the minority for these women and these families and these children. It seems like there's a lot of loneliness there. There's a lot of missed opportunities there because this one man is expected to provide and care for and be there emotionally and physically for these wives and these children. This is where the sister wives, in my opinion, got it wrong, because they were not being honest about a lot of things. It is not always, oh, I'm so happy, this is so happy, you know, we're multiplied, we're going into the kingdom and yada yada. Yo, it's that a lot of what is being asked of us is hard. Rhonda says that the track record is swayed, that they're not going to be happy. I remember, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I remember the Browns trying to present it like there's more families that they know that are polygamous that are happy than they are sad. And Rhonda is telling us, no, it's actually the opposite. There are more families that are unhappy than they are happy. Brady feels that polygamy lived with equality and symmetry is a beautiful thing. He also acknowledges that sadly, most of the time in these polygamous relationships, it is not equal. The man is seen as supreme, and that's when it's ugly. And that's what we don't want our children to be a part of. Thank you, Brady. Thank you for showing that it's not only the women who see the inequalities in this dynamic. Thank you for being honest and saying that it presents often as something else. What interests me most is while Brady is saying these things, he's talking about the men being supreme. If I was one of the wives, would be so excited that my husband is pointing this out. Whereas these women are looking, and some of them seem like they're kind of struggling with what he's saying, which makes me wonder, do they agree with his new belief system? Do they really want all of their kids to be monogamous? Are they too, in some sense, struggling? Because I get a sense that the wives have not yet found something to replace what they lost when they decided to leave the AUB. Correct me if I'm wrong, if that's not what they're a part of. But I think that they lost something when they decided to leave. And I think that there's a lot of loneliness in that, because it seems like, because they said at the very beginning in the first episode that they're in this community where a lot of people aren't even talking to them. So enough of that. It's party time, and it's party time, and it looks so boring to me. Noni's excited though. The venue has already put out the tables, the chairs, and the linens. So they're adding candles, centerpieces, and gifts. The gifts are company hats and company jackets. The decorations, as I said earlier, are basic. Noni is proud of herself. Brady is thankful for what she's done. She has decided to create a kissing ball where there's going to be a professional photographer set up to take a picture of you while you're kissing under the ball. It's cheesy to me. If you disagree, you can put it down below. Which of course makes it kind of uncomfortable for the wives, because they at some point need to take a picture with Brady and they kiss him, which they see it, and it's all of them surrounding him, kissing him. That was basically the end of the episode. What do I want to say? I like the episode. I think that this family doesn't have a lot of drama, and because they don't have a lot of drama, I think that's why they didn't make it past 2 seasons. I do think that they're a group of people who are trying to navigate this thing as best as they can. I do feel like there are some things that, they're still being careful about how they're disclosing it, but I appreciate that they're being more honest about the difficulties in this. Anyways, that's all I got. Y'all let me know what you thought of this episode. Until next time.